Join us, the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast, on a journey where we delve into the heart of the matters that truly make a difference. Our mission is to create a platform where we can openly discuss topics that often go unnoticed or unexplored. We aim to shed light on these crucial issues and have meaningful conversations. We invite you to tune into our podcast, where we will explore the depths of these subjects and let our hearts guide the conversation. Together, we can create a space where everyone's voice is heard and where we can collectively work towards a better future. Welcome, everyone, to the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast. I am your host, Nia Imani, and I have the pleasure of interviewing this beautiful woman on your screen. Her name is Miss Darniece Bragg. Thank you for joining us.
Ooh, thank you for having me. Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Oh my gosh, Miss Darniece is absolutely amazing. First, my mom told me how amazing she was, and then I realized how amazing she is. And once I get into her bio, we're going to find out how amazing she is and what made her do what she does. So let's get into it. This beautiful lady right here, Miss Darniece, is an author, motivational speaker, certified Christian life coach, mentor, and content creator. And she's also recognized as Leading Lady Dar, the she shifter, period. She is the founder of Walk in Them Shoes, LLC, an empowerment firm. Here, she inspires women to pave their own paths to success by guiding them to transform their defeats, struggles, and failures into stepping stones. Her focus on personal development is evident through the workshops she hosts, the speaking engagement she leads, and the courses she has designed to shift women's mindset. She wants them to live more abundantly. She is LadyDar, the speaker, the MC, content creator. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Go, ladies, and gents too. And at this point in my life, Nia, well, you want me to call you? You want me to reference you as Nia or Dr. Bailey? Because we can just keep.
Nia Imani.
All right, all right. Well, at this point, it is anyone who feels that they need that shift, that they're ready for that shift. So yes, the Lady Dar it is, she shifter is what I'm called, and amongst many names. But one thing I do stand for so strong, so hard, is I am a woman of God, and everything that I do is based upon God's movement, is based upon God's biblical principles. So that's me. That's me. I'm here and I'm so grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be able to pour into women's lives. And I'm here. So, ask me what you may and let's see what we could do. Let's see if we could shift some ladies tonight.
I love that. What made you want to do that, to shift that, from I'm here at point A and I need to be here at point B? What made you want to create this?
Because Nia, if I can look back on my life, first of all, I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it honest. I was at a point in my life, and several times, in fact, I felt myself at my lowest. And sometimes, we can open up the Word of God and it can truly, truly inspire us. But it's nothing like knowing someone who was on the floor of defeat and was able to get up off that floor of defeat. Because when you recognize in human form and you can see visually, okay, well, if she did it, then I can do it. So I found myself there, as I said several times, but there was one time in particular. First of all, walking in shoes was actually spoken over my life by my former bishop. I didn't know, and back in 2017 is when I formed it, but these words were spoken prior to, and I didn't know what it meant at that time, but pieces started coming together. And that's how God works. He don't give it all to you at one time. But the situations that had transpired in my life, one being a single mother, and then secondly, being a victim of domestic violence, it made me feel so depleted. It made me feel less than. And I'm gonna try my best to get through this without tears. But it made me feel a way that I know God didn't intend for me to feel this way, but I couldn't get myself up. It was like I was trying, and I felt like I would almost be there, but then it would be something that would just sit me right back down. And I didn't have my mother at that time in my life, but God was with me, but I really wasn't using God. I wasn't pulling on God. I knew He existed. I knew that I was His child,
Mhm.
but I didn't really know that He was calling me up higher.
Mhm.
And not that I wanted to stay on that floor of defeat. It's just I felt that I didn't have the tools,
Mhm.
but I did. I needed to draw closer to God. And sometimes people don't realize that. Sometimes people can't see past where they are. Sometimes, we on the floor at the feet and you say the only way to go, only place to go is up from here. But how about if I can't withstand my own weight? How come, like what happens when, the weight is so heavy, or the weight is so heavy that it's deplenishing, it's diminishing my worth, my feelings, my values. It's making me feel, and Lord, don't have little people in your life that is looking up to you. Because sometimes you get up off the floor, you think you get up off that floor of defeat, and you're trying to put things together for the little ones that you have in your life, and you putting on a facade. But really, honestly, you're so broken inside, you're so torn inside, and that's a really unhealthy place to be. So I was able to recognize that. And once I did get up off that floor of defeat, I didn't even know it then. I didn't even know it then. But I kept saying, I can't give up. This is not an option for me. And fast forward to 2017, that became my mission, walk in them shoes. But how can I walk in them shoes? I have to put one foot in front of the other. How can I put one foot in front of the other? I got to believe that it's someone, there's a source higher than me. I have to believe that there's a calling on my life. There's things, you know, we can look around within our in our household, within our community, and you may have one or two people that can speak a positive word in your life, or you may have one person that you may admire. There's something about that person, and I don't know what it is. I had that one woman in my life, and she was my children's great grandmother. She had a piece about her that was just so recognizable. My spirit was able to meet that, and I knew that's what I wanted. So that became my drive. That became everything. I was living for my children, but I was living for that healthier place that I know God wanted me to be. So that's how I got started.
That is, so how did you pick yourself up? How do you do that? Because I can see people saying, I'm in that place.
Mhm.
What
It's
can I do to
it
get?
starts. The crazy thing is, it starts with you believing. But again, if I'm so torn down and if I'm so broken, how can I believe that I'm either worth it? How can I even believe that God wants better for my life? You just got to keep pressing. You have to surround yourself with positive people. And then, not only positive people, you need to surround yourself and you need to immerse yourself in God's word. I
Mhm.
don't care what it looked like, what it feel like. I don't care if you like, I don't really feel like reading this word today. Put on some inspiration, put on something that will allow you to shift into a different mood. And this is so imperative now today. I think back when mm, some years ago when I was really struggling, I was really struggling, and not like having identity issues, but having this issue of, am I worthy of being in a better place? And sometimes women think that they're not. Like, am I worthy of being in a better place? Being in a healthy place now sounds like, oh my God, that's a ridiculous question. But it is a question that some people really sit with, and like, this is all that God has for me. And it is a mind thing. It really can keep us stuck and keep us trapped. And it's like a prison. Yeah, really. It is like a prison. So to me, once I got up off that floor of defeat, and I knew that that last time that I was really going through this hardship, it was like, God, if you just get me out of this, not only will I continue to serve you, but I'm going to serve others.
Wow.
I'm going to show them my life. I'm going to show them where you brought me from and where where I may think he's taking me, sometimes, we have these plans,
Mhm.
but God has something in store for us even bigger. His word tells us that, so you have to get tired
Mhm.
of being where you are. And baby, I got tired of laying on that floor of defeat. I got tired of being stepped over because sometimes there are people in our lives, they see you there, but they'll step right over you.
Mm.
And some of them may not even lend a hand, but guess what? It goes back to sometimes they don't even know better. They don't even know how. You see, that place was a familiar place to them at one point, right? And maybe even still to that day. So they may not know how, So it is about believing in yourself. That's what it's about.
And even in that moment, you lended those people grace.
Mm, mm-hmm.
How in the world?
Well, initially I didn't, I'm gonna say this because initially, the few that were around me, I wasn't extending grace at that time.
Mhm.
Wasn't mad at them.
Okay.
I just felt like, and not that misery, we know misery loves company, but I think that because they had been in that funk of theirs for such a long time, that was their routine. That was just their life. So when Niecy, or Dar or Darniece was there, that was like, oh, boo, you good? Like you gonna be all right. That pat on the shoulder, like you gonna be all right. But tell me more.
Mhm.
How you gonna be all right? You may not know the ins and outs of it, but I had to surround myself by influential women that you ever heard the saying that says, if you're the smartest person in your group, then you need to find some new friends.
Right.
Yeah, Nia, that was me.
Mm.
That was definitely me. So I started showing up places.
Mhm.
It's and I don't know, I can't take full credit for this, but I know that I guess God gave me that feeling that this is enough, daughter. Like this is enough. Like what you gonna do? And I think He extends us that grace. He shows us where we are, and it's up to us. Sometimes He may give us that glimpse, but sometimes He don't. And then that's where our faith had to kick in, and that's why we have to immerse ourselves in the Word because life is about trials and tribulations, right? Which means we're going to have them, but it is up to us. Like I say what to other people, even especially my daughters, you can have your moment to feel your feelings. Because I'm good for trying to get people up out of that funk, right? But what I learned me over the past maybe year or so was that I would always tell my daughters, like, calm down, like relax, it's not that deep, it's not that bad. And my daughter told me one time, she was like, let me feel my feelings. It was in an abrupt moment,
Mhm.
let me feel my feelings. But what I learned was, no, don't tell them that. Don't say that because that kind of fuels them up even more, but let them know that I empathize with you and I'm going to help you get through this. I'm going to help you see a brighter side of this thing that you're going through. And I can't say that someone lent me that hand while I was down there on that floor of defeat, but I started visualizing and I started seeing myself in a different place. And I think when I began to really immerse myself in the Word of God, that He started allowing me to see myself in a better place. It didn't happen overnight, and it's still a work in progress. Yeah.
I just, for some people, it's just, it's so hard because you go through so much, but yet I've been told, you're telling us, we've been told, stick in the word in the Bible, but that's so hard. I mean, like you said, because sometimes I don't want to, this has nothing to do with me. This was 6,000 years ago, or why am I even going through this? I mean,
Those are words and those are true feelings. And we must feel them. We must ask them. Lately I've been doing these little skits called God conversations with me and God. And I'm actually talking to God, like, like in a jokingly way, but I'm expressing, like I was just sharing with my daughter the other day. And I was like, I had to tell God, daughter's in the passenger seat, and I said, I had to tell God, like, He is slow, like, He is really slow because there's something that I'm waiting for, right? And I was like, and I wanted to do this skit and say, like, me and God having this conversation, but God, you're really slow, but they say you're an on-time God.
I love it. Yeah.
Fact is different, you know, and it's just a joke, but yet, all in all, how can that word, he's an on-time God, how can I apply that to my life? I can look at things pessimistically, or I can look at them optimistically. We have a choice. We wake up every day. My situation on a particular thing may not have changed today on Thursday, the 16th, but tomorrow I have that choice to say, were you going to let what didn't happen, or what you were waiting for that didn't come through yet? Are you going to allow that to allow you to mope around, or are you going to still serve God? Or are you going to still be humble? Are you still going to be grateful for what you already have? And it's a choice, you know, but I do understand that in life, some of us may have this chemical imbalance, which brings upon depression, anxiety. I've suffered with that. That was part of my floor defeat. There's so much anxiety. The anxiety that I had was me worried about that present moment and the future. And then some of the depression came in because I was worried about the past that I realized I couldn't change, but yet I allowed it to taunt me. So when I began to really immerse myself in the Word of God, things started. I was on medication for anxiety. Well, who took Darniece off that medication? Well, I decided that I'm gonna come off the medication, but guess who sustained me off of that medication? It was God. You see, so we have to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
We have to make a conscious decision, especially if you have young little people. And it's like some of us need that medication to help us. You know,
Absolutely.
some of us need that. So I don't knock that at all.
Yeah.
But I will say, open yourself up to God and see what happens. So that became my mission. Walking them shoes became my mission. And when the word came forth, like, you're going to be healing women all around the world. And I was like, not me. No, I ain't laying my hands on nobody. But it didn't mean that, Nia, at that moment. It didn't mean that. I have different platforms where I'm reaching women all over. When I look at my analytics sometimes, and sometimes I look at the views in the comments, and I'm like, wow, through my books, through the courses, through, the different platforms, that's God. That's nobody but God. So
Mm-hmm.
what I experienced being on the floor of defeat, I better look back and say no woman left behind.
Yeah.
I better look back and tell whether who it is, whether it's a woman or a male, I better tell you giving up is not an option. You may be mad as I don't know what at me if I'm telling you that and you going through, high and hell water. You might be mad. That's not what you want to say. And I do know that where, I do have some constraint with myself that I'll say, well, this not the right time to tell them this, and God allows us an opportunity to be able to sow that word and that word of comfort into a person's life. So, I'm on a mission for God. So
Oh my gosh. Let's talk about your books. Tell us about your books and tell us about the feedback that you've received from your books.
So I wrote a book, and I like to say I wrote several journals because I'm a person who loves to journal. I write all of my products mostly are for women, but my book Shifted to Speak on Success. Men have purchased that book and have told me that it has truly helped them. It is a book of personal development. And in that book, I share a little bit about my journey on as an entrepreneur, the things that I've dealt with, the things that God kept showing me that I needed to deal with. It speaks a lot about values. And as an entrepreneur, we want things like this, like
Yeah.
that. And when it don't happen, sometimes we subject ourselves to selling our souls, and thank God that was not my case. But there have been some people that I've communicated with that I've heard about, they sold their soul just to take it to that next level, and maybe that sounds very dark, but I don't want to say sold their soul, but they did some things, there's some things and that is not appropriate to me. And that wasn't going to be my story. So I just share a little bit about the things, some things that hit home for me, how I was able to get myself out of the funk, how I had to deal with God showing me myself as I was building this business, things that I did do and didn't do, So I wrote the book Shifted to Speak on Success. You can find that on my website, walkingthemshoesllc.com, as well as Amazon. And then I have several journals, and some of those journals are written under Darniece Carter, Darniece Alsop, and Darniece Bragg. And I'm looking to kind of bring it all in. So one thing I do like to say with and share with any audience that I'm speaking on is that I am a Black woman about business.
Mhm.
Learned how to walk in them shoes by putting one foot in front of the other. And those times of me putting that foot in front of the other, I battled some things,
Mhm.
but I'm not afraid to say I had to deal with this. And this is how I overcame that. And I think when we get to that place of, being okay with being vulnerable, the healing is not just for me. That allows another woman or even anyone else on this journey to be healed, to say, wow, and I haven't arrived yet. Nia, I say this all the time. I haven't arrived yet, and I know that God still is doing some things in me. He's still birthing out many things. Sometimes I'd be like, all right, God, what I got to do with this? Because this, and I know people think I'm crazy, but when God give it to me, I either put it in a book or
Mhm.
I'm going to show it on a platform with my products or my services. Just recently started my calendars and candles called Devotional Diva. And that is being a devotional diva is not so much like the diva in the natural sense,
Okay.
but I spelled DEVA.
Mm.
And I did that for the sole purpose in reading your daily devotion, reading a daily devotion, reading your word, it changes your life. So again,
Mhm.
sometimes we're in a mood, and I don't feel like reading my Bible, but we have so much more now that we didn't have then. You can get a Bible app. You can read even, I mean, not read, but you can go on YouTube and have the audio Bible being read to you. There's ways to get into that word.
Mhm.
So that's what it's about.
And you mentioned courses. Tell us about the courses.
So the courses, so my organization, Walking Them Shoes, I actually well, I wouldn't say supposed to, but it's something that I'm still working on far as having it be the WITS University. So when I first initially started Walking Them Shoes, and if you read my book, it tells you that I took my business into a different I took it a different route than God wanted it. I started putting names on a t-shirt and doing t-shirt things and was making a couple of dollars. And I really thought I had a business, but that wasn't it. God was like, you doing that. That's not what I got for you. So but it's WITS University. Um,
Mhm.
where I create the courses and you utilizing that platform so women can, you know, sometimes people may not want to show up at a workshop. They
Yes.
want to deal with something, watch something at home, so that's why I create the courses. That's why I do what I do, because I want to reach women wherever they are in the air. And I know I can't save them all, but I'm gonna tell you, sis, it has been quite a few. Someone listened to There was a woman who watched my YouTube video, and I did a prayer board instead of just a vision board. And I woke up one morning, this was just recently, I shared this on my YouTube channel. The message that she left me, and this was a woman who I had met through someone who wanted to connect us both because we were doing business, the same kind of business. And she was a woman of some power. She's a good woman. She has some things established. So for her to take the time, we had each other's phone number, met one time, and we were supposed to do business, and we just didn't really finalize things. This woman left me this message, and she's an author. She's a great woman of God, and she's doing some amazing things, has her own platform and all. The fact that she left me this message, the fact that she watched my entire video, because we never know who's watching, who, our videos is going to be placed in front of. It was an on-time word for her, a very on-time word. The message that she and I'm trying to figure out how I can play the audio either on my website or probably on my YouTube. But it was an amazing testimony. And sometimes when we think, oh, we're not reaching anyone, or no one's really interested, I don't care if you do a video and you have probably about 10 people on your live. Keep going, keep doing it. because we're changing the lives of women. I mean, I don't want to just keep saying women, but, that's my primary focus. But I will say that we're changing the lives of others when we do things such as what you're doing right here. So, yeah.
Oh my, and it's okay to have a target audience. Like, of course, men could benefit too, but you are a Black woman, you're a woman, and that's okay to have a target audience.
Yeah.
How has your journey inspired your children?
Well, so much so that being an entrepreneur, my daughters were like, I'm not being an entrepreneur. That's not for me, mom. But my oldest daughter started her podcast, and she's gonna kill me because I said I was gonna mention it. I forgot the name of it. But she's a mother of three, and she's
Uh-huh.
her journey as a mother. She's a mother of three who lost her kid's father to gun violence, and she's sharing her testimony, but she's sharing, why it's important for women, well, single mothers to have a supportive network. Yeah. So yeah, I'll be sharing more of her information. You'll see her on one of my sister circle social shows. So yeah. But with my son, he's doing entrepreneur. He's an entrepreneur. He's a slow entrepreneur because he can be doing so many more things, but nonetheless, it has inspired them and I'm grateful.
That is, and you've even inspired your oldest daughter. I mean, you're a mom, and look how your trajectory went from here to here, Lady Dar. Like,
Mhm. Yeah.
it's sometimes not even the words that you say, but people watching you. And she
Mhm.
has seen you blossom. They have seen you blossom. Have
Yeah.
you reached that peace that you were looking for? You saw your children's, what was it, great grandmother?
Yes. Yes. Oh, yes, I have. So I can attest that I have reached that. And I can say that my daughter has told me, Mom, you have, and sometimes she'll tell my grandkids, y'all don't know the niecey or the Darniece. Y'all don't know the grandma. She wasn't always this way. But let me tell you, and my daughter said the other day, and she's acknowledged the fact that I have this piece about me. And what she said was, Mom, I said, yeah, God granted me that peace. She was like, no, Mom, you really earned that. You
Mhm.
earned that. So to raise three children as a single mother up until they were probably like 11 or 12 was when I got married the first time, but being a single mother, sometimes, we think that I'm weak, I can't do this, I can't do that, but that builds up a strength in a woman, honey, that is, I mean, make you feel like you can take on the world, so my daughter and my son has acknowledged that. When my son says, Mom, you top tier, listen, I love that. I said, I'm ready. I'm re- I love hearing that because they saw the struggle, they seen the peace, they seen the chaos,
Mhm.
and then they're able to see the peace.
Mhm.
So I'm so truly grateful.
That is a blessing.
Thank you.
Lady Dar.
Mhm.
She shifter. And is the where did that name come from? You being the she shifter.
The crazy thing about it is, someone was getting free advice, and I'm gonna say free advice because they were a male friend who was going through with his wife, and the advice that I was giving him, he said that I helped shift his mindset. And
Mm,
like, thinking, I just kind of just laughed at it, like, and then he called me another time and he said, You really shifted my mindset. My mindset was to leave. My mindset was to do
mhm,
X, Y, and Z. He said, I knew, and in fact, he was the same person that started calling me Lady D. He started calling me Lady D. But when he said these things to me, he was like, You really are walking in your calling. He was like, You just doing it for women. You ain't doing it for men. You need to do it for men. But it became a joke. And he was like, Yeah, you shifted me. Yeah, you shifted me. And it became a joke. And voila. So that's why I do what I do because I've seen the evidence of being able to speak into women's life and
mhm,
it changed their mindset, like change. I
mm,
can't really take credit for that. I'm just the vessel that God uses. But I can say one thing is that when he used me in that manner, oh my God, the transformation to be able to see it, to be at first a lot, you're in front of someone was dealing with something, and it's like they're clinging on to your very word, like they're really clinging on to you. Yeah, that does something for me. And I don't know if it's the passion that I have behind it, but it does something for me, So I'm on that mission, boo, and that is to help women get up off that floor of defeat and turn those obstacles and those challenges into stair steps to success.
Mm,
I did it for me, and he can do it for you, and you, whoever's out here watching.
that is so powerful. And can you speak specifically to a woman who may currently be going through domestic violence and she sees your face, she hears your voice, hears the passion and all the many hats that you're wearing? Can you speak to her and encourage her to what you've been saying gets through? What can you just speak to her? Anything that is on your heart to say?
And forgive yourself would be the first few words that I would say to her.
Mm,
Forgive yourself. That is something you need to look yourself in the mirror and utter the words. Don't mumble them. Just utter the words to yourself. Darniece, I forgive you. Forgive you for staying. Forgive you for accepting or even just keeping yourself in that position. I wrote a book called, a journal called War, and it stands for Women Achieve Remarkably. And it is to help women who are in domestic violence situations. Because one thing that happens is we become trapped mentally.
mm,
People say, oh, that door is not locked. You can leave. You can, but it starts in the mind. They play mind games. It's not just it's the same sex relationships, the opposite sex relationships. They will tear you down, and it makes you feel less than. It makes you feel that nobody wants you. It will make you feel that you deserve this. You started this. You caused this. I've been there with physical abuse, emotional abuse. It's horrible. It's horrible. So my first words to utter to her to say to her would be for her, giving her instructions to say that constantly. Because when you say that, it's a difference in telling yourself, like the heck, because what'll happen is you'll keep pondering over it. You'll keep pondering over it. And that tears you down even more. But what can build you up? Letting yourself know you really probably aren't the cause of this,
mm,
but you're here and this is where you are. Look at reality for what it is. Darniece, I forgive you for this. I forgive you for staying, for allowing this, for accepting this. And just begin to take those baby steps. Plan. In this book, in this journal, there's a plan where people, I call it the plan to escape. you know it's serious. We think in 2024, 2025 that people aren't really dealing with this. Yes, they are.
absolutely.
Yes, they are. So yeah.
Absolutely. What is next for the She Shifter, Lady Dar, Lady D? What is next for you, and how are you going to keep in, empowering women?
So out of empowering women with their life and their mindset, I've stumbled over many women who are sitting on their gifts and talents, who may be tapping in a tad bit of a hobby that I've been able to help them turn into a business. So my Black Woman About Business organization is designed to help entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs. So that's why I did the Black Women About Business Expo and giving women an opportunity to vend and showcase their products. So what I did, so I'm shifting more of the business coaching with women that look like us. I'm gonna help anyone for real. But I've created a membership called the Build Her, Be Her. And it started last week, actually. Just to be
Congratulations.
able to bring women together twice a month and be able to hone in on our skills to be able to support the bond, uplift, and just be able to connect so we can see what others are doing and how they're doing it on this journey as an entrepreneur, because it's hard for us sometimes. So it's building that community. So that's what is going on in Dar's world.
And how do you wear all these hats? How are you You're a serial entrepreneur. How?
And that's what I was saying, how God just gives me this.
Yes.
What I've learned, Nia, is that I have to take it to God. Just because I wake up with this thought or this idea doesn't necessarily mean I need to turn it into a business. So I have to take it to God because I'm actually working on a book right now, and it's Matters of the Heart. And that has been, I'm working on two other books. But that right there, the Matters of the Heart, I found that I could wake up with a thought or an idea to do something, but it doesn't necessarily mean create a book. It doesn't mean to start a real project on it. It could be something that God is trying to deliver me from. It could be something that may just be even, one of my monthly newsletters or, just to be able to share with other people. So, I am wearing a many hats. And sometimes, with my Wild magazine, as you were, on the cover, sometimes it gets to be tough because like that Wild magazine should have been out January 1st, but it's now ready to go out. Saying that to say that sometimes wearing the many hats, doing it all by yourself, it ain't cute. And sometimes we have to use wisdom and know that I need to reach out for some help. So I'm just getting to that point.
I am so proud of you. Are you happy that you are now at the point to say, I need help, or reach out to your village, reach out to your community?
Yes, and I had an assistant at one point, but then there was times just like with God, we say, "Oh God, I give you this," but then I take it back. Give you this, I take it back, and I've done that. But I'm to the point now. There's no more taking back because guess what? I can't be the business and help it grow. You know what I'm saying? I can't be all of the things in a business and allow it to grow. It won't grow. You know, so even though God had given me the idea, He's given me the desire or the project. I can't build it out by myself, So it's important for us to be able to say, I need help, hire the help because it will free you up to be able to do other things. And those other things may just be the thing to help you grow this year, reach those six figures. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But it's been an amazing journey as an entrepreneur, but I would say to women that are out there struggling emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you got to stay connected to your source
Mm.
and build that village of women. We used to say it takes a village to raise a child, but baby, it takes a village to remain sane in the times that we're in today. So build that community, stay connected to like-minded women, but some women who hold some substance, some power, my prayer warrior sisters, things of that nature.
How can people get in contact with you? Because I know a lot of people are saying, I just need to speak with her. I need to enroll in the course. I need the journals. I need the book. I can't wait for her other books to come out. How can people get in contact with you? Or I want to be on the cover too, they're saying.
Absolutely, absolutely. I have so many ways that we can honor women, the Sister Circle social show, the Wild magazine. There are many things in which if you want to recommend a woman, highlight a woman that is doing some amazing things in our community, sure, reach out to me. I'm available. Of course, I always respond to my emails. Might be a tad bit, a little bit behind, but I will respond. But best contact, if you're not going to visit the website, which is walkingthemshoesllc.com. But my whole source is this connection right here, 267-632-6281. This is my business line, but it's a great way to contact me and also by email. Everything is on my website. If you find yourself, you run across Leading Lady Dar YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel, become a part of the community. Everything that I do again is biblically based. Will I help you if you are of a different religion? I certainly will. Will I help you if you're not a woman? I certainly will. I'm on a mission. We are healing souls out here the best way that we can with what God has given us. So, yeah, I'm available. Mhm.
You are just so powerful. When you sit back and think about your life from birth till now, what are you most proud of?
Now you're gonna make me cry.
Oh,
But I will say that I am most proud that I said yes to God. And not because the doors opened up. I said yes to my healing. I couldn't see anything without being healed. I couldn't. Those that could have been for me, I probably was feeling that they were against me because of my healing. When you're in a hurt place, one, hurt people, but they're not even able to see the good in others sometimes. So I'm grateful and most proud of the fact that I said, yes, God, yes, and that He entrusted me. He trusts me with this baby here, this walk in them shoes, this Black woman about business, the things that I have, the connection I have with you. This is all God. Like, I met your mother when we worked at Temple years ago. Right. So, I mean, yeah, I'm most proud of that, saying yes to God. He's a keeper.
you're a walking testimony. And like
Yes.
you said, you're just getting started. Like you're still here, but God said, "Okay, I'm gonna bring you here." Like you are like I said in the beginning, the keynote speaker, a motivational speaker, because you are it your words, the sound of your voice, your tone of voice does something in here. It resonates. It makes me, and I know it makes other people want to, all right, let me see what I have to do. Let me listen to God and then do what he tells me to do.
Mhm. You
Yeah.
know, I used to receive calls in the midnight hour from women who were dealing with domestic violence. And at the time when I was married, my ex-husband would say that's not inappropriate, it's just not good. But when a woman is in need, listen, it's appropriate. Okay. So I would say to anyone, even if you're not in a domestic violence situation, but you may be in the four walls of your own home and you're dealing with demons, you're dealing with things that you don't even know how to deal with. You have things going on within you don't know how to deal with. Pick up the phone. You're not alone. In spite of what the devil may try to present to you, is that you're alone, no one cares, but I do, and I may not be able to quickly be able to satisfy your situation or eradicate you from the depression or things like that. But we're going to get on this process of being able to soothe some of those issues, some of those wounds, and, get you on a path of healing so you can see that you're worth so much more, so that you can say, yes, God, and just getting on a path of that healing. Yeah, it's so important. So important.
Who do you say you are? You've listed the names and but if somebody said, "Who is Darniece? Who's Niecy? Who is Lady D?" What will be your answer?
I want to say a woman of God, but I will say a woman who was once wounded but is now healed. Now, does that mean I won't go through things in life? It certainly, yeah, I will. Yes, I will. But I was once wounded, which means that there's a God working in me because I didn't patch up the wounds. I didn't do it. You know what I mean? So I am a woman who was once wounded and who has been healed. Yeah, that's what I would say.
And everything that you do, it's sort of paying homage to what you've been through. You are a woman who was walking in them shoes. You are a Black woman about business. You are shifting. You are, I mean, it. You're not new to this. You're not talking about something that you have not experienced, which makes you an expert and it really makes you trustworthy with other women or people that need to come to you for help.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for that, Nia. But I will say this, initially when I started Black Women About Business, it was
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, women that are doing their business, taking care of their business, doing their things.
Mm-hmm.
I moved to New Jersey almost 2 years ago. And there was something that I left in the Philadelphia area, and I forgot about things. And I forgot about it. And it was like, oh my God, I'm not about my business.
Mm,
Initially when it may sound funny to people where it's like, you're not about your business, because Black Women About Business is initially for the entrepreneurs. But you think about it, are you about your business? You,
mm,
but are you really about your business? That means taking care of X, Y, and Z. That doesn't mean having everything perfect, because none of us are perfect.
mm.
But what it means is I'm intentional about my business. I had to go back and correct some things. I made some mistakes, some things. I had to address a lot of things that sometimes we may want to run from because we don't want to deal with the pain. And that is where that relationship with God coming in. We want so much more in life. We don't want to deal with the pain. But guess what? It's no need in me starting another business, no need in me getting in another marriage if I'm not healed from what was. You see, so we got to look at my book, Shifted to Speak on Success. I talk a lot about how when I was dealing with issues in my ex and my past relationship, it was like God kept showing me me. He kept showing me me. And I'm like, I'm not coming to you for me. I'm coming to you because this person did X, Y, and Z. Did you see it? Did you
Right.
hear it? But God kept showing me.
Mm,
There was a purpose. There was a reason for that. There was some maturing that I had to do, some healing that I had to do, so.
Is that one of your biggest lessons that you had to look at yourself?
Yes. Oh
Mm,
my God. Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that question. It was a big lesson for me. And it was painful. And I thought, I mean, this may sound I'm not cocky, I do carry a great deal of godly confidence about myself. But at one point I was like, I'm good. Like, ain't nothing wrong with me. I was just recently, I mean, like when I met my second husband, I was probably out of my marriage, probably my first marriage, 2 years.
uh-huh.
I was like, I'm good. Like, ain't nothing wrong with me. But honey, when God kept showing me, I mean, it was like I'm dodging every day, I'm dodging something. I'm like, oh, heck no. And it literally, but what kicked it off too? I was doing a fast. I was doing a fast. I was writing this book during this time. And God just kept showing me, and it wasn't pretty.
Mm,
It wasn't pretty. And not that I was out there doing crazy things, but it was certain things within, things that I had pressed down from childhood, things that I just, I had a very sarcastic way about me. I didn't just develop that just because Grandma Eloise was that way. I didn't just develop that just because, you know, there was some issues that was going on within me. And instead, I was cutting people with my tongue. Hurt people, hurt people. So there were some things that I had to allow God, I had to allow him in so he can do a new work in me. And he did that. He did that. So when I do my workshops, I do a lot of things, and it's food for thought. It's little workshops that where we at one time I did this workshop where I brought these ashes and these urns, and it was like, and I had people write down things of their past that hurt them, the things that we see in our mental state. What do we see that hurt us, or what feels like it's coming up out of us, and we pushing it back down. I'm telling people, let it up, let it out. But we got to learn to do it in a healthy way. Like my daughter, for instance, very angry at times. And we say 0 to 100, no, 0 to 1,000. But there was something within that hurt and that pain. And it's good to put on the weave and the makeup and all this, make us look good. But baby, if you torn inside, baby, we better do something about that. So that's the mission that I'm on. And you know I love it. It does take a lot out of me. I will say, one time last year, I'm sorry, I had one client. I never felt depleted, or I never felt as weak as I did when I walked away from this woman. It took a lot out of me. I didn't even know how to deal with it. I had to call one of my coaches to ask her if she ever felt like that. And if she did, was I not doing something to feel the energy that I felt from her? Because I felt like she took everything out of me.
okay.
And I had never felt that before, but my coach said that is something I wanted you to feel. Now, I don't know if that was the truth or not, that she was saying that she didn't tell me prior to. I was like, you should have told me, but I had never felt that way. But you ever been around someone that's dark, and you think about it, they can suck the life out of a room.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that, you're doing something wrong. Because initially I was like, wait, what did I not prepare for this, right? Like what didn't I do? But this woman and I are still, connected, but it was something hovering over her, and I had to pray that off of me, so I want to know. I don't know. I don't know. I want to say sometimes transferring the spirits can be like very heavy and very dark. So definitely have to be prayed up, as we're out here as life coaches and, just coaching and teaching.
And do you make sure you take care of yourself in the midst of all of the hats that you wear and the heaviness that you can feel?
Yes, yes. What does self-care look like for Dar? Well, I have my grandbabies. They are my sunshine. So honestly, sometimes before I even get into a routine of a self-care, I can listen to an audio or I can look at Google Photos, the reminders, and that sets the tone for me. But if it needs to be taken a little further, I love to pamper myself. I love shopping. Now I can say that, for many of us, I was an emotional shopper, so I'm very careful of that. So I try to do things like reading a good book, reading a book that I know once I put this down, even if it's just 20 minutes a day, at least I read something, I fed my soul. Because to do self care, we all love to get our hair and nails done. That looks good, but it's a temporary fix if you're broken. So feed your soul, because I feel that once you feed your soul, that emanates and radiates a sense about you that's like, I don't have an S on my chest, but sometimes I walk in a room like I do got an S on my chest. And that is the godly confidence that God has provided for me, and that's because I spend that time with Him, So self care can look different for all of us, but definitely is needed, and it's needed on a daily basis.
You are amazing. And I have to say, thank you for accepting God's call and listening to his voice. Thank you for that, because you are literally saving lives daily.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Please
Welcome.
tell the people one more time how they can find you, because you are so powerful.
You can find me on Instagram under Walking Them Shoes, as well as Walking Them Shoes website, which is walkingthemshoesllc.com. You can also find me on TikTok under Walking Them Shoes, and also reach out to me 267-632-6281. I am readily available to assist. And I do have on my website, if you go, there's a free discovery call. It's linked to my Calendar app. You can book yourself a free consultation. And what I say in this free discovery call, some people get counseling out of that.
Mm.
That is perfectly fine with me.
Mm.
If it gives you that boost that you need to keep going, that is perfectly fine.
You heard her. Contact her. You got the phone number. You got the social media. You got the website. This is 2025. Let's shift our mindsets.
Absolutely.
And let's have an accountability partner. And it's the LadyDar.
Yeah, yes, yes, yes.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Nia. I appreciate you so much. I love the platform, and I'm so grateful that you said yes.
You are the best. You have heard it. You heard the words from Lady Dar on the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast. I am your host, Nia Imani. And remember, walk in them shoes. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast. Remember, each conversation brings us closer to a world where compassion thrives. Stay connected, stay informed, and let's keep the heartbeat of humanity alive. Subscribe, share, and be a part of our journey to make a difference, one conversation at a time. Until next time, keep your hearts open, your minds curious, be a blessing to others, and give agape love. God bless.